tobacco.
Yes, tobacco.
What would you like to tell us about that?
All right, so tobacco, man, there is a lot to be said. So first I
We may
want
have
to
to do like a whole
address,
episode on it, but for now, we'll give us the quick version.
yeah, so before it becomes an elephant in a room, let's address the stigma around tobacco in our society. Cancer, lung cancer, it's what first comes to mind for most people when they think about tobacco. And granted, your average cigarettes will give you cancer. However, what people don't realize is that nicotine itself is non-carcinogenic. In fact, I am completely convinced, I don't necessarily have like studies to back me up on this, but I am completely convinced that the cancer that you get from cigarettes is not at all from the tobacco. It's coming from the additives that they put in it to make it like smoke more smoothly and have a flavor. It's that element that is actually what's giving people cancer. And I kind of feel like, at least in my experience, that those chemical additives are also a big part of the addictive quality of it. Uh,
Mm.
because, well, this is just for personal reasons, because I've actually had plenty of ease quitting tobacco. And that's because the tobacco that I smoke is tobacco that I grew myself. So I know it is absolutely perfectly clean. And by the way, I would like to encourage people who are interested in this sort of thing to try growing their own tobacco. It's actually a very easy plant to grow. It contains its own pesticide. Nicotine is something you could actually use as a pesticide.
Wow.
Um, and yeah, it takes great care of itself. Just need to water it when the soil gets dry. And if you can grow it in a sunny windowsill, I find that that tends to work best. I used to have a solarium greenhouse that I grew my best tobacco in back in the day. And yeah, so when I first approached tobacco, I had that negative stigma in me. My grandmother had actually died from lung cancer from smoking cigarettes.
Mm.
But when I first got into psychedelics and plants in general, I made this big order from this website called a World Seed Supply. I could put a little plug in for them there. They're great. Got an amazing selection of all kinds of medicinal seeds and whatnot. And what I originally ordered was Lobelia inflata, which is a similar plant uh, used by northwestern tribes of the U.S. With no nicotine. And I was like, oh, well, I'll try that because it doesn't have nicotine. And then when my shipment arrived, they were like, oh, sorry, we're all out of Lobelia and Plata. So we included this Aztec tobacco. It's like Aztec tobacco. Okay, well, that actually sounds pretty cool. So I was still a little apprehensive. So I did my research. I started finding the studies that are like, actually, nicotine isn't carcinogenic. I will say it does exacerbate existing cancer, though. It can
Mm.
stimulate an existing tumor, but it won't create a tumor.
And is nicotine the chemically addictive part?
Uh, theoretically, what people believe is that, like, sure, it's certainly a very pleasant experience. It's something that feels good. The Native American interpretation of it is that nicotine is food for the soul. And so it helps you to feel at ease. It helps you to relax and be present. Um, and yeah, and for that reason, I find the reason I want to bring it up in this podcast is that it is very helpful in psychedelic experiences.
Mm.
Anyone who's sat with ayahuasca, with a professional ayahuasquero, has probably witnessed them using mapacho tobacco, which is the shamanic variety of tobacco. It's actually the same. The Aztec tobacco I mentioned specifically is actually the same species. It's a different species from what we smoke in North America, which is Nicotiana tabacum. Mapacho is Nicotiana rustica, and it's a stronger variety and a little bit more primal and close to nature. And it's very valuable for providing yourself with the power and energy to navigate difficult experiences. If I'm experiencing a very difficult experience, oftentimes I can just take tobacco and that helps me to right myself and clear my mind and center myself. Also very popular is hape, which you may be familiar with, the
Mhm.
powdered tobacco snuff. Not my way of taking tobacco, but that's just me. Um,
So how do you take tobacco or the,
I smoke the tobacco that I grow myself.
okay. Got you.
Smoke it
Yeah,
out with a pipe.
heard of people doing hape just under their lip too.
Oh, I hadn't heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, big thing with tobacco is you just don't want it going down your throat because it is a purgative. It will
Mm.
make you very nauseous and want to throw up
And I said that wrong. It wasn't under their lip, it was under their tongue that they
under their
told me.
tongue or in their teeth. Yeah, you want to you want to spit it out when you're done. Definitely don't swallow it.
Good call. Thank you for eliminating or like to stressing that point that that is
Mm.
what they did, I'm sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to throw up, it can do that. They can actually that can be a valuable thing if you've like swallowed something poisonous or something. But
Yeah. It can make you nauseous all on its own without hape, at least for me, without having to swallow any.
yeah, if you get it in you strong enough, it
Mhm.
can really throw you for a loop.
Yeah. So you usually use it in combination with other medicines.
Yeah. Well, one thing that can be done with it that I really like it for in a spiritual way is you can pull the smoke into your mouth, and while it's there, you can intentionally infuse an intention into it, and then
Mm.
you blow it out as a way of like directive smudging.
Mm. Yeah.
So when I am preparing my decoction of huachuma, typically about every half hour, I'll take tobacco and blow a little blessing and good intention over it.
Very cool. Yeah. So, I had a question for you on the tobacco. Oh, could it be useful or have you seen it used for like you said, that difficult journey to just help someone calm down and surrender into a journey if they're struggling with some type of a psychedelic journey?
Yeah, so when we're struggling in psychedelic journeys, typically it's sort of like a panicked bewilderment, right? It's like, oh, I don't know what's going on, or oh, I don't like what's going on, and just struggling with it. And that tobacco is very helpful for calming that energy down and bringing you back to center. I've sat in ceremonies with ayahuasca where the shaman had stated that if you're having a very difficult time, just raise your hand and we'll come by and we'll help you with a little bit of hape. And
Mm.
I never really needed that in ayahuasca. Actually, all of my ayahuasca ceremonies have been quite glowing and lovely, but it does work very well for that. It is a excellent aid for that specific purpose.
Yeah, that's neat. I hadn't thought about that or heard of that before. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm glad we chatted about it. Okay, I've got 2 minutes left. Is there anything you wanted to wrap up with the tobacco or just an overarching message to share?
Um, oh shoot, I think I got just about everything I wanted out there.
Perfect. Yeah. What would you go
Yeah.
back and tell your younger self? Or even maybe your pre-plant medicine self or your struggling depressed self, you know?
Yeah, well, to my pre-plant medicine self, I would say you might not understand it right now, but there is so much more to this life than we see with our eyes.
Mhm.
Uh, so much more than we even think with our minds. Like there is a whole infinity out there beyond the limitations of this existence, and you have no idea. But just keep doing what you're doing, and you'll get where you're going.
I love that. Yeah. No need to stress and worry. Just keep going. You got it.
Yeah, worrying just, it's no good. It's no good. You like in any situation where you feel compelled to worry, it's worrying isn't going to help it. Like even if there's something to be done, the energy of worry only holds you in a space of inaction.
Yeah, it's not a useful way to go about doing the thing that you're doing either, an energy of worry or
I think in
stress.
the grand scheme of things, the purpose of worry is merely to learn to overcome it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Learn to let go of it. Oh,
Mhm.
perfect. Well, I really appreciate your time. I think there were so many good nuggets in there, and we may even have to divide it into two different episodes, but I really appreciate it. It's so fun getting to know you, and I look forward to seeing you more at some of the My Way dinners down here.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
All right. You have a good day.